welcome to FM White People, your friendly neighborhood white people. So today we are going to be talking about fascism. No particular reason, we're just going to be talking about fascism. So Harry, any opening thoughts?
Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines fascism as a populist political philosophy, movement, or regime, such as that of the fascisti, that exalts nation and often race above the individual, that is associated with centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, and that is characterized by severe economic and social regimentation and by forceful suppression of opposition. And it's generally a far-right movement.
Yes.
Now, you might be asking yourself, why are you talking about fascism? Whatever could be happening in our country right now that might make you think of fascism? Oh, I don't know. Maybe the silencing of some late night TV show host that misspoke, as it were, according to some administration that we currently have right now.
To be clear, there's a difference between fascism and just and silencing someone and just canceling someone, right? So when someone is canceled, that is free market at work. That is something that capitalists are supposed to love. The free market at work. That's people saying, I'm no longer going to participate in this person's art. I'm no longer going to buy this company's brand. Whereas this is different, because in this instance, the FCC got involved.
Fascism is generally carried out by government.
Yes, and so that's what makes this fascism, is the FCC got involved. And
Which is, and I didn't know this, but the FCC is appointed by the president.
yes,
And
the head of the FCC is appointed by the president.
And the FCC has also decided, and this was a while back, that television and radio do not fall under the provisions of free speech in this country.
When did they decide that? Because this is news to me.
George Carlin did a whole fucking bit on it, which I thought was fucking interesting as fuck too. I just haven't had a chance to really dig into it. Now they have possibly undid that since then, but it seems like they're doing it again. And if you also think about it, well, yeah, the FCC had determined that you can't say certain things on television and radio. You can't use adult language on television and radio. Well, up until a certain point you couldn't.
Okay, so while all television is a form of speech protected by the First Amendment, the extent of that protection depends heavily on how the content is transmitted. So public television is a lot different than stations, which is a lot different than cable. So public television, like PBS, has less protection than, say, NBC, but NBC has less protection than, say, HBO.
And when you have the chairman of the FCC appointed by the president, which I think is fucking bullshit, and falls under the authority of the president, which I think is fucking bullshit, it causes problems. Major problems. Because I don't think if it's on a cable network, like ABC, NBC, CBS, and all that, if I have to pay to see it, then, well, and then some of those you don't have to, because we can get an antenna and get that shit for free.
Yes.
But there is a thing, I think, there used to be, where like HBO can get away with certain things because you had to pay for HBO.
Yes.
And on cable, they can get away with more because you had to pay for it.
Yes.
Now, it seems like even cable networks are, oh no, we can't say certain things.
Can you give an example of that?
Well, you can't get away with nearly as much on, let's say, like Comedy Central during certain hours as you can get away with on HBO. They had to, because there's also certain things in the FCC where you can't talk about certain material until after a certain time.
Yes.
And that's why South Park was always pushed later at night.
Because South Park is very quote unquote, yeah.
But why? Oh, we're gonna protect the kids. You know, there's a little thing called a remote, and on this remote there's buttons, and some of them change the channel.
Some of them also set up parental guidelines.
Yeah, that too. If you don't want your kids watching certain stuff, either change the channel or be a parent and go in and go, no, you can't watch this. I'm going to block it. Don't force your ideologies on other people.
So I kind of agree, but I kind of disagree. I think that it depends on, because not everyone has parents. Not everyone has parents that are, you know, like actually going to parent. And I think those children need to be protected too. And I do think, I love South Park. I think that South Park is very mature and is intended for a certain audience, which is not, let's say, an 8-year-old child. So I understand why we push South Park to certain hours. But I think that's very different than the FCC getting involved in, you know, a station just what he said wasn't that bad.
Oh no, but he was just repeating certain things that were said and then only showing a clip of what the president said. But everybody's so focused on the, you know, he said this about Charlie Kirk, blah, blah, blah. They missed the whole 90% of the rest of the monologue that was talking about the Epstein files. Which, I wonder if that's the real reason why Trump was like, no, get rid of Kimmel, get rid of Colbert.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that seems like it could be.
Oh, let me take you down a little bit further the rabbit hole. So that network is also relying on a merger. A $6.2 billion merger. That merger doesn't go through, and that merger happens to be with a company that is one of Trump's buddies. So if that merger doesn't go through, they're losing billions of dollars. And then Disney, shame on you for bowing down. I mean, all these networks, shame on you. The big shame walk. Your shame walk should be far worse than what the shame walk of Cersei Lannister was.
I mean, agreed. Hard agree. Like, the FCC put pressure, but it wasn't the FCC's decision. And, I mean, shame on the networks.
And when you have, what kills me is when you've had every president before say the exact same thing, which is, it is the responsibility of journalists and media entities to criticize and call out what they see. And now you have this, where no, if you criticize this administration, you're going to be punished.
That's at the core of fascism.
Sounds like somebody's got tiny hands and thin skin.
Oh, very thin skin. Thin skin.
Who also poops his pants. On TV.
Yeah, I'd have to see clips of that, because, like, I find that, like, I believe you, but I find that hard to believe.
I'm going to pull it up right now. And they'll say, oh no, that was CGI, no.
Which is a problem, because it is hard these days to know what's real and what's fake. So that could be him pooping his pants, or that could be him peeing his pants, but something definitely happened to his pants.
Motherfucker soiled himself on live TV.
He is an old man. Like, I'm not going to make fun of him for that, because he is an old man. And
I will, because
old men have accidents. Well, I don't want to make fun of people who would have accidents. I don't make fun of him for having an accident, because that's akin to making fun of other people for having accidents, but fuck Trump.
No, he deserves it, because he wants to sit there and talk about people being incompetent. He's incontinent. This whole thing is like, in the direction that they're trying to take with this whole Charlie Kirk thing. Did Charlie Kirk deserve to be assassinated for exercising his free speech?
No.
Absolutely fucking not.
No, I may not like what he said, but I would defend to the death his right to say it.
Yeah. I mean, and if people want to hear him, fine, whatever. But making a Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day And now all of a sudden, like, basing like military recruitment to help. I gotta look into it, but they want to, like, the recruitment is to like help avenge Charlie Kirk, even though they're so far off when it comes to who actually the shot him, like the ideology. They're grasping at so many things that they want to call him a left radical, but he's not. He was one of their own that got radicalized, and then because people like Laura Loomer out there was like, Kirk's a traitor, he needs to be dealt with. Yeah, which, fuck Laura Loomer. The only person that likes Laura Loomer is Melania, and that's because Laura Loomer just made it so Melania doesn't have to touch Trump anymore.
How'd she do that?
Oh, like, I don't even think it's a conspiracy theory. I think it's just fact, because everybody's like, Laura Loomer wants to be the new first lady, and she's Trump's mistress. And when people have joked about it with her, and she's like, yeah, no, I'll be okay with that.
Has she really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, I'm sure Melania's like, no, fucking have at it.
Anything to not have to touch the orange turd.
Wipe his ass. God knows he needs it. And then, like, they're using this Charlie Kirk thing as another way to outmaneuver having to release the fucking Epstein files. Because they know if they release the Epstein files, they're all fucked.
Didn't they just vote to release the Epstein files?
They were one seat away, or no, they got the minimum amount of votes required to release the Epstein files. So here's an idea. Why don't you just talk to the victims? They got a list.
I mean, I'm sure they remember every person.
I'm sure they'll be more than happy to tell us.
I read somewhere, and I don't know if this is accurate, so, research this on your own. But I read somewhere that the victims had said if they don't release the list, they're going to release their own list.
I think the victims shouldn't wait. I think they should just say, y'all have had enough fucking time to do this. Enough's enough. Here it is.
And before anyone says it, the reason they didn't release them under Biden is almost Obama. Under Biden is because they were sealed under Biden.
They were federally sealed by federal judges. Said, no, you guys can't open these and look at these. And then Trump's dumbass came along and said, oh yeah, no, I'm going to release them. Unseal them.
Knowing full well he's in them.
Multiple times. And this fucking FBI director, it seems like to me this whole administration is just filled with incompetent people.
It is, because it's filled with sycophants.
Because how can you sit there and say that you found a note left behind from the person who shot Charlie Kirk, but it's already been destroyed, but you know it was there? Like, that is just a dumb statement. That just unveils your incompetency. If you were smart, you would have never mentioned that note. Because how the hell are you going to let that note get destroyed? If somehow that note had something, damning, that made it definitely look like he was a maggot recruit. Like, they show their hand on just how stupid they are at every turn.
I mean, they do. And while we're on the Epstein list, we've said this before, but let's just say it again. I don't care who's on the Epstein list. I want every single one of those motherfuckers to go down.
Yeah, I don't care.
I'm sure there are Democrats on it. I am sure there are Democrats on it. I am sure that Bill Clinton is on it. I would be shocked if Bill Clinton is not on that list.
Hang him.
But hang him.
I'll bring the guillotine. Fuck it.
Like, let him face the consequences of his actions as well. Because no one, and I repeat, no one should get away with fucking kids. You don't fuck with children.
The amount of billionaires and people in power that this list would destroy is one of the reasons why they want to lose it, because if those people actually, who's to say anything were to happen to these people if this list came out?
Well,
but let's say if they did. Let's say if they actually got justice. They would have to find heads, new CEOs for all these different companies. Hell, probably even new royalty members.
Well,
Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew's on that list.
Who's to say Prince Charles is, or King Charles is?
I don't know.
How many presidents of
I
different countries?
I haven't heard his name associated, but I don't know.
How many different presidents of different countries are prime ministers, ambassadors?
And releasing the list will probably shake the foundation of America. It'll probably shake the foundation of several countries.
It shake the foundation of the world.
And that's horrible, and that's going to lead to a lot of fucking chaos. But you don't fuck with kids. Like that is a central moral tenet that we can pretty much all agree with in this day and age. Is you don't fuck with kids, man.
Yeah, we're not Greek and we're not Roman.
Like, you just don't. You just don't.
And I don't give a fuck what your religion is. You just don't do it. I know in some religions it's okay to have child marriages. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
They're disgusting.
Do you know, like, child marriages still happen in America?
Yeah.
And, yeah, they're mostly religious-based, but they still fucking happen.
Oh, it's shitty in this country where we give more rights to the rapists than we do of the children that were victims of rape.
Yeah, because there are still women who are, well, not say women, but not women. There are still girls who are forced to marry their rapist.
Or forced to have their kids.
Yeah,
that
or both.
Is an instant right there. 11-year-old gets pregnant. No, abort that fucking baby. I don't give a fuck what her uncle. And I'm talking about one of the most notorious cases, the case in Ohio, where from prison, the uncle argued that he had every right to have custody of that unborn child.
Yeah, first of all, I think if you've ever sexually assaulted, or no, not even sexually assaulted, I think if you've ever assaulted a child, you should lose all parental rights. But that's A. But B, I think it should be up to that child, because that child's parents, and that child's doctor, which they should not be forced to have that child, because an 11-year-old body is just not fit for childbearing.
And people will say, oh, well, back in the day, girls like that had children all the time. No, they didn't.
Even if it didn't happen, that still doesn't make it right.
Because when we were younger having kids, we had to wait because of nutrition and lack of food and other things like that. And the kids that you're thinking of that were having these babies were more along the lines of 16, 17, not 11. So this whole thought process of, oh, well, when we were not as civilized, women were having babies at a lot younger age. Yeah, like 16.
Even if they were having babies at 11, that still doesn't make it right.
No, it's these idiots that go around saying that when...
Like, we used to do a lot of things before we knew better.
Yeah.
But once you know better, you do better. Or you should do better.
Yeah, we used to sacrifice humans just to make sure that the sun rose. Because we didn't understand that,
that the sun doesn't actually rise.
It just rotates. Well, we rotate around it.
Yeah.
Sacrifice humans, animals, and all kinds of stuff. Once we realize, oh, no, that happens even if we don't do all this? Huh. Alright, well, I guess we'll sacrifice you for something else then. How about we just not sacrifice? No, that's nonsense. We must keep sacrificing. But we don't have to. Our deity says we do. I'm not even sure your deity exists anymore. Let's not sacrifice anything and see what happens. Oh, the same thing happens? Hey! Fuck your deity. Let's talk about the ultimate fascism. Religion. I mean, the Catholics. Come on. The original fascists. I wouldn't say original fascists. I definitely think Catholicism is a form of fascism.
Oh, okay.
Well, up until the point where we had popes and shit that actually gave a fuck. Like I think right off the top of my head, you know a fair amount of them. The Borgias.
Yes.
Yeah. Think about...
They were a very corrupt family.
Yeah, think about all the shit that the Borgias did. And tell me that's not a form of fascism.
Well, corruption isn't necessarily fascism. I don't know that the Catholic Church meets the criteria for fascism, but it's definitely corrupt.
But let's look at this definition. A populist political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts nation and often race above the individual. That is associated with a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader.
Yes, I don't think that fits.
The Vatican is its own fucking country.
Yeah, and so maybe it would have fit maybe there's a time and place when it would have fit, but I don't think it's now.
I will concede to that. That maybe, like I said earlier, once we had popes that actually gave a fuck.
Well, I don't even think it's about popes who actually gave a fuck. I think it's about the spread of Catholicism.
Oh, you mean like forceful suppression of opposition?
So, yes, I think that at a time...
The Inquisition, let's begin. The Inquisition.
Don't get us sued.
No, Brooks wouldn't sue us for that, because he'd be like, nah, they're fucking right. And also, let's clarify a little something here. Communists and fascists, I don't think are one and the same.
They're not.
Just like socialists and communists are not one and the same.
They're not.
So you definitely have your tiers of what's worse.
Yeah, and I would put socialism at the bottom of that.
Yeah, I would put fascism at the top, then communism, then socialism.
Communism, the problem with communism is that it tends to get a little corrupty because you have a centralized government that controls all the things. So it's really easy to get like the wrong people in those positions. And then that gets a little corrupty.
I can see how communism might turn into fascism.
Yes.
But you can't have socialism turn into fascism. Because socialism is all about the power toward the people, toward the worker.
Yes.
The labor force has more say of how their labor is valued than the corporations.
In part, yes.
Where also the labor force says, okay, everyone should have an opportunity and chance to get as high as everybody else. So we need to spread the wealth out so everybody, because as research and science and data proves, when you give people opportunities and make life a little bit less stressful, they tend to do better. Because people out there be like, oh, you can't just give people free money and all this stuff. They'll just sit around and waste it. There's data out there that proves you wrong.
There are countries out there that prove you wrong.
Several.
That is yes.
I mean, Norway has a program where it pays all of its citizens a monthly stipend, whether they work or not. Everybody gets a paycheck, I think.
And people still work.
Denmark is another one.
And people still work.
And these countries are shown to have some of the happiest citizens ever. And they're also one of the most highly educated ones.
Because they treat their teachers like doctors.
And also, I think this might also be a big part of it, predominantly non-religious.
I don't think that religion's part of the problem, right? Because religious theocracies never work.
Because it's propaganda. Oh, speaking of which, speaking of fascism, there was a bill proposed to block the U.S. government from using propaganda against U.S. citizens.
Let me guess, it failed.
It was immediately blocked. Tom Massey, or Massey, whatever his first name is. Thomas Massey, yeah. Which this guy's surprising the shit out of me. He introduced a bill that would block the U.S. government from using propaganda on U.S. citizens. And Speaker Mike Johnson immediately shut it down. Color me surprised.
I mean, I'm not surprised at all, because they want to use propaganda. They are using propaganda to keep the people ill-informed.
Yeah, and when one of the biggest propaganda machines out there is Fox News, that would shut them down in a heartbeat.
Though, again, Fox News has been surprising me lately.
Yeah, but they only have like a 17% fucking accuracy on their journalism, on reporting the truth.
And that's insane, and we talked about this, me and you have talked about this privately, but I don't think that the accuracy has to be 100% because sometimes you're going to get things wrong.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be 17.
But that's where retractions come in, and I think retractions are a valuable part of journalism. But it definitely shouldn't be 17. That's not an accident. That's not, whoops, I got the facts wrong, let me correct myself. That is purposeful misinformation of the people.
And when Fox News has been sued multiple times
and lost,
on misinformation, you gotta wonder if the people watching it even give a damn about the truth.
And, you know, speaking of lawsuits, because just to get this out there, because like the New York Times doesn't have a 100% accuracy rating, but their accuracy rating is pretty high. They were sued by the Trump administration, and guess who won? The New York Times. Because it wasn't misinformation. It was facts.
Would it happen to be about that birthday note?
I don't remember. No, I think it was about a culmination of things. But yeah.
The birthday note that supposedly didn't exist?
But now they have fucking evidence of and like pictures of. Yeah.
It's like the Epstein files existed. Then they turned around and it was a Democratic hoax.
And then they didn't exist at all.
And then they didn't exist at all. And then somehow they exist again.
That's a lot of cognitive dissonance for one person.
Folks, if you haven't read the book 1984,
read
you
it.
Really fucking should, because it is what we're living through. We're about to be living through. And also, V for Vendetta. If you have not seen that movie, watch it, because that's where we're headed.
Isn't V for Vendetta a twist on Guy Fawkes?
Yes, which Guy Fawkes was famous for the failed attempt of trying to blow up Parliament.
Over his treatment of Catholics.
Was it treatment of Catholics or just ill treatment of people?
It was Catholics.
Well, the Catholics have been persecuted before. I'm not going to say that they weren't.
And were being at that time.
Yeah, because the Protestants, the Protestants...
There was a lot of back and forth in England, like, for a while. Over, are we going to be a Catholic country or are we going to be a Protestant country?
Hell, the Catholics were persecuted in this country.
And they became a Protestant country, but they have a higher percentage of atheists in England than we do in the United States.
I think 40% of England is atheist.
Or non-religious.
Or non-religious, compared to like 17% of the United States. Which is also like a number that makes you think a little bit. Because what's the population of England? The population of the UK is 70 million.
Okay.
The population of the United States, what do you think it is?
Isn't it like, I don't remember.
370 million.
Yeah, I was going to guess 350.
So, not even all of our major cities in this country make up the entire population of the UK.
Okay.
Because with New York, LA, Chicago, Dallas, Fort Worth, and shit like that, we have less than 10 cities. Hell, probably about 5.
They make up the population of the UK.
Yes. Which the makes you wonder if, like, there are actually more atheists in this country than there are in the UK.
I don't know. And there's a slight difference between atheists and nuns. But not nuns as in N-U-N-S, but nuns as in N-O-N-E-S, like the nuns, the ones who say they have no religion. It's a slight difference, but not much of one, I don't think. Because most of the nuns, I think, would classify themselves as either atheist or agnostic.
Yeah, and the difference between an atheist and agnostic is atheists are just flat out, there are no gods, completely. An agnostic is, I'm not sure. I can't see any, so right now I don't think there are. But is it possible there could be? Yeah.
Atheists basically live their life as though they've ruled out a God, and agnostics live their lives also as if they've ruled out a God, but they're open to
the possibility of it once a firm evidence presents itself.
So there's really a razor thin difference, because I'm open to the possibility of God if there's evidence. What would change my mind? Evidence. Like, you can change my mind. I just need evidence.
I saw something that presented itself as a God. I'd be like, listen, you're going to have to convince me really hard. And the only way you can do that is if you create an entire new universe. If you can step outside of this plane and create a whole new universe.
And then show you that universe.
And even then, I'd be like, well, God is supposed to be something that exists outside of this existence. Did you ever exist outside of this existence? Show me you existing with outside of this existence.
I mean, I don't know that that's
Possible?
possible, yeah. But
Yeah,
then
so
again, I don't
therefore it
think
can't be a
that.
God.
Which is kind of the point that I've gotten to.
Now you could be if a being showed up and said, I'm very powerful and on the level of a god, I'm like, alright, cool. But you can't call yourself a god.
There's evidence that would change my mind. But I think that's the difference between. So what was it? What's his name? Ken Ham was famously asked, what would change his mind, and then Bill Nye was asked what would change his mind, and the answers were striking because Bill Nye said evidence, and Ken Ham said nothing. Ken Ham being a very famous Christian.
If you want to call him that.
He built that failed amusement park in Kentucky.
Oh, Noah's Ark?
Yeah.
The Ark?
The ark that flooded?
Which
yeah.
depicted humans with dinosaurs?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Oh.
What? Really?
It's like, I'll never forget that one time that I got a coloring book in the mail, like a free coloring book, and then I called to see, or I got an offer. Sorry, I got an offer in my email for a free coloring book sent in the mail. And I called to see, because it came from a Christian company, and I was like, well, a free coloring book for, one of my nephews. It's a free coloring book for one of my nephews. So I called, because I don't have a problem with Christians. I just don't believe like they do. As long as they keep their nose out of my business, I don't really give a shit what they believe. So I called to see what this coloring book was all about. And because it was a dinosaur coloring book, I asked them about, if they were young Earth creationists, and they were like, well, of course we are. And I was like, no, thank you. I don't know how you got my name and number, but please remove, or my name and my email, but please remove me from your list. Because I was like, I'm not giving a young Earth creationist coloring book to my impressionable fucking nephew for him to color dinosaurs with humans on the same fucking page. This is not happening.
No, folks. If you're curious as to know how Nazi Germany became Nazi Germany, all you have to do is open your fucking eyes and look around you right now.
There is a difference between fascism and Nazism.
Razor thin.
But it is razor thin, and we're seeing both in this country.
When you have people like Tucker Carlson saying that he's worried about the Nazification, about this country becoming Nazified.
Which is one of those things that gives me a little bit of hope for the future. The fact that Tucker Carlson, of all people, is speaking out. I think that's great, because I think that he has...
It's weird that a person who was once very pro-Trump is now kind of becoming anti-Trump.
I mean...
Which, like you said, it does give me, dare I say, hope.
I mean, in fascism, everyone eventually does have a poor idea of the leader, except for the sycophants, which have a poor idea of the leader, but just are too afraid to speak up.
Or they realize that, they can use this puppet to further their own sick and twisted.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to work.
Ideology.
I think Elon Musk tried that, and I think Elon Musk failed.
Elon Musk isn't smart enough.
I mean, he's not. He just steals other people's ideas.
I mean, hell, he's got to rewrite his own AI program to get it to stop telling the truth.
Well, yeah.
Because Grok got asked about the crime in D.C., and then asked who the biggest criminal was in D.C., and it popped out, well, there's one person in there that's got 34 felonies, and it's the President of the United States. Grok basically said the biggest criminal in D.C. right now is Donald Trump. And then they changed it. They changed Grok, and it became Mecha Hitler Grok. And then they had to undo that, because everybody's like, what the hell is this? And hell, I find this to be hilarious. The self-driving cars,
Mm-hmm.
they had to change it because they modeled the driving patterns of Elon, and come to find out he drives like shit. Because even during one of his little adventures out in the self-driving cars, it went to do something and he had to yank the wheel to correct it. And he's like, I don't know why it did that. And they're like, well, we based its driving patterns off your driving patterns. And he's like, oh.
That was a dumb idea.
We might want to fix that. So yeah, and Elon, he's just a man whose father got his riches from blood diamonds.
I think blood emeralds, but yeah.
Emeralds, blood money, and decided to just take over companies, because I don't think any of his companies were actually original ideas of his own.
Elon Musk, no.
PayPal, no,
he took PayPal from other people.
Tesla,
he took Tesla from other people.
SpaceX,
Took it from other people, yeah.
And just sat in front and be like, oh no, this is my company and my innovations and blah blah blah. We go through, everything I want to. And then they do interviews with all the people that work with Elon, and they're like, yeah, we have to steer Elon, or he'll come in and say that he wants to do this, and we're like, oh okay. And then as soon as he leaves, we don't do it. And then when it works, we just say, yeah, no, that was totally your idea. And then when he looks into it and sees that it's nothing like what he suggested, he's like, well, this isn't anything like I suggested. Yeah, we know. Well, what happens when we do it my way? It doesn't work.
Because he's not an engineer.
Yeah, he's not a genius. He's not that smart. And that's another problem we have with people out there that have all this money.
They're not as smart as they pretend or portray themselves to be.
Yeah, because also money makes people dumb. It makes them disconnected. They have no idea how the world really works. They have no idea what a struggle is. And we all know that adversity is one of the greatest tools for innovation. Because when you have to go through adversity, you have to think a lot. You have to find out how the fuck to get what you need to get, plus also deal with all this other bullshit.
I mean, yeah. Adversity is a great teacher. But I don't think I would be done with a lot of money, so please let me win the lottery.
I think people like us, if we came into a lot of money, I don't think we'd keep it very long.
Oh no, because
We'd be donating it. We've been trying to get certain things going.
If I was a billionaire, I wouldn't be a billionaire for long.
No, all of our money would be gone because we would just be giving it away. And people are like, well, that's stupid. That's how you lose all your money. It's just fucking money. You can't take it with you.
No. No, you can't take it with you.
And also, if we became billionaires, there's no way in our lifetime, unless we were just giving away billions at a time, that we would spend it all in our lifetime. I mean, if we could donate, say if we got $1 billion, we would have to donate $1 million to 1,000 different organizations.
To get rid of all that money.
To get rid of all of our money.
Yep.
I can't think of 1,000 different organizations that I'd give all of our fucking money away to.
Yeah, I can't either. I give some to my employer since I work for a nonprofit.
And I can't think of, there's only about maybe 10 that I can think of that I even give $1 million to. We're not going to list all of them.
I'm not going to. But, yeah, I can probably think of 10.
So, yeah, I mean...
But $10 million is a drop in the bucket when you're a fucking billionaire.
Hell, you would have to give 100 organizations $1 million just to get rid of 1% of your $1 billion.
Yeah, we would be getting, if I gave it to 10, that'd be 0.1%.
So, we wouldn't, so to take that back, we wouldn't lose all of our money. We'd go from billionaires to millionaires.
Yeah, I don't think we would lose all of our money, but I think we would probably not stay billionaires
for long.
Yeah.
And then after that, getting closer to the end, we would definitely just set up enough for us to live comfortably and for the rest of our days in our house where we wouldn't have to be put in nursing homes and shit like that, and then take the rest of it and dole it out to our loved ones, and then the rest of it just give it away to fucking, because I wouldn't give all of our money away to our loved ones. I'd give them like, hey,
No, because no one needs $1 billion handed to them.
like, here's enough money to set yourself up to make life easier for you, so you can have time to find what it is that you truly want to do in life.
So you can have time to find what you truly want to do in life, so that you can send your kids to school.
And then the rest of it would go to fucking whatever organizations that we want it to go to, and that's the end of it. And I think for you and I, a lot of it would be helping homeless people, helping victims, child victims, and helping animals.
Yeah. Alright, so that is all that we have for you guys today. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we are all over social media like herpes. Also, be sure to subscribe to the podcast. We are all over, all in all the podcast places.
Love you, bye.